So let me get this off my chest first. I did not like the first Hotel Transylvania movie. But with that said, I did kind of enjoy the second one. So Hotel Transylvania 2 is the sequel to the surprising hit Hotel Transylvania. Dracula's daughter Mavis and the human Johnny are in love and they're married now, and now they have a kid. Dracula is hoping his grandson will be a vampire, even though he claims that he'll still love him if he was a human, but he's definitely pushing for him to be a vampire. But the kid is almost 5 years old now and he still does not have his fangs. Believing his grandson is just a late bloomer, he decides to try to bring the monster out of his grandson. And practically that's the whole movie without me giving any spoilers. Now, like I said, I didn't like the first Hotel Transylvania, but that doesn't mean I hated it. In fact, there was quite a few moments that I did enjoy in the first Hotel Transylvania, and ultimately I really liked the whole story about a vampire falling in love with a human and a vampire not knowing what the world is like outside the hotel. There was a bunch of different aspects that I really enjoyed in Hotel Transylvania. It's just I felt they were a little bit spoiled when the rest of the movie just wasn't as good. I still have some of those same feelings with Hotel Transylvania 2, but the thing is, Hotel Transylvania 2 was funnier and it was cuter than the first Hotel Transylvania, and that really helped boost it to a more enjoyable level. There's an almost sort of grown-ups comedy with the monsters being too old to do some of the things they were able to do when they were younger, but I thought that was kind of humorous. Some of it obviously made me roll my eyes, but it was kind of humorous. And just like practically every Adam Sandler movie, it is about the Adam Sandler character not able to either grow up or not able to get with the changes. But I still think that Hotel Transylvania 2 was handled decently. There's also a lot of nice surprise voices like Nick Offerman playing Andy Samberg's father in this movie. Or sorry, Johnny's father in this movie. And seeing the trailer, I knew Mel Brooks' voice was going to be in it. But actually looking at the names of some of the voices in the movie, I am completely surprised because I did not notice those voices at all. Like Molly Shannon and Keegan Mitchell Key and Dana Carvey apparently was in it, and Rob Riggle. I didn't notice those voices at all. And I have to say, my favorite scene in the entire movie that I was laughing the most was at this sort of camp vampire. I guess monsters have their own camps as well, and there's a place where they can send vampire kids to be trained. You see a little bit of it in that trailer when Dracula drops the grandchild from a really high tower to try to learn to fly. But now this camp has very different methods on training vampires and more babying vampires than Dracula was used to when he was a kid. And so there's some really comical moments in that scene, and that was hands down my favorite scene in the entire movie. Now, very similar to the first Hotel Transylvania, there's a lot of comedy that are strictly for kids. There's a lot of childish comedy, but there's also some comedy that adults will get. And I think the first film wasn't balanced enough. It was a little too more childish for me. But in this one, there's a little bit more of a better balance. The one problem with Hotel Transylvania 2, though, is that even though it's more balanced for adult and kid humor, it's really sporadic when it actually reveals what kind of comedy it is. Like, there'll be a moment where it's strictly for children to laugh, and then suddenly it becomes a more adult humor, like right then and there. There's very huge shifts in what type of comedy it is throughout the movie, and it feels a little bit more sporadic and random. But even so, I had a better time seeing Hotel Transylvania 2 than I did with the first Hotel Transylvania. So I'm going to give Hotel Transylvania 2 2.5. It's almost a 3. It's not quite there. It's a little bit sporadic and still a little too childish, but I did have a fun time in the theater, so don't get me wrong about that. So have you seen Hotel Transylvania 2? What did you think about it? Go ahead and comment. And if you haven't seen Hotel Transylvania 2, what is your favorite monster cartoon? If there's more than just that. As always, this is Bruce Gifford, and this was Just My Opinion.